Do you know Dr. Edwards, the 24th president of NCU? NCU has been experiencing a boom. uh, uh, how have you gotten to this point? I mean, you've come at a time when there's so much happening. How do you bring an institution that has been around for a long time, perhaps not as long as it's longer. Sorry, I'm mixing them up. Right. So longer than the University of the West Indies. How do you maintain your relevance in this age of the blue ocean?
Thank you very much for that question. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here. So long before it was termed the Blue Ocean Strategy, those principles were being implemented at Northern Caribbean University, West Indies College, West Indies Training College. NCU for many years has served as both the symbol and the engine of a revolution that provides access to higher education for many persons who would otherwise be excluded from the higher education market, either on the basis of cost or some other factor. So early on, we pioneered the work study model. And we began, as pretty much a strong agricultural component we had earlier on. And so persons could come to NCU who didn't have any resource at all. They would come, they would work on the farm. Sometimes they spent 12 years or so, not because they were doing a PhD, but because it took that amount of time for them to work, accumulate the funding that they needed to pay for their education. And so we feel that that model is still relevant today. So what we have done is we have adopted or continued the Blue Ocean Strategy, and we looked around and we looked at the needs of the country. So it was, Professor Pinnock said, look at the needs of industry. We looked at the needs of the country. Crime is a major factor in Jamaica today. And so solutions are needed there. What is it that we have? We have a network of churches. So we have gone to our network of churches, the largest network in the country, and we have said to our church members and our church leaders, you know the persons in every community in Jamaica. You marry them, you bury their dead, you relate to them in many ways. You know these persons. Help us to identify the young people who are at risk to be influenced by criminal elements. And then we further challenge our churches to have a fundraising project. And we're not limiting this to Seventh-day Adventist churches. Any church, any civic organization can partner with us. And we say, help us to raise the funds to give those young persons a start at Northern Caribbean University. And why Northern Caribbean University? Because when you look at our society, the society is coarsening. People are not as loving and caring as they need to. And so values and attitude are declining in the society. And yet, we offer a Christ-centered, values-based education. So we are saying, allow those young persons to access that type of education earlier on. And when we say Christ-centered, the essence of that is others above self, service above self. That is what we're emphasizing. And we're saying this is what is needed in Jamaica now to turn around the country in terms of its morals and strengthen our interactions with each other. And I will tell you, a number of persons are responding to that appeal. I had a mother come into my office with her son. Why? Because her son was getting involved in a gang, and she was frightened at the prospect of that. She came into my office because she heard about a program that we launched called the Rescue Program. Rescue is an acronym for restoring every student's confidence using education. So she wanted to see me. She came, she sat in a chair, she looked at me, the boy was sitting in another seat, and mother looked at me and she said, "Simba, sir, he was now our responsibility." She didn't know what else to do with him, so she presented him. I asked the young man, "How many subjects do you have?" "I have 9 subjects, sir." Sitting at home, getting ready to enter a gang, I told my staff, I said, "Sign him up so that he can start Northern Caribbean University. This is what we do." Police corporal called me. Her son is giving her problems. He won't talk to her. But she said, "Will you talk to the president at NCU?" He said yes. Came into my office, went to my high school, St. Diego, has 10 subjects, sitting at home. So I told my assistant, sign him up too. And now I'm appealing, and now I'm doing that, and then I'm coming to the nation to say, if we're serious about crime reduction and turning around those young people, then I ask for your support in this situation. Sign them up.
That's niche separation. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Also,
Then we have an emphasis, if I might just add, on innovation. And innovation using the tools that we have. Now, many of you know that NCU has won the business model, National Business Model Competition 4 years in a row. But what I want to emphasize is not so much the win, but the fact that all of the winners, the ideas were all agricultural based, because NCU is based in the agricultural belt, and many of our students come from surrounding communities. So for example, one winner was Herbu. It's a natural based shampoo. After they won, and because of the spirit of innovation, they are now exporting to the United Kingdom, to the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. Natsima, another winner. It's a herbal remedy that can reverse the symptoms of asthma and sinusitis. And the most, yes, and then the team that just won the International Business Model Competition, their product is basically a mechanism using a pheromone receptor to attract the beet armyworm that destroys crops all over, even in Nigeria, because they had it tested in Nigeria and so. So the pheromone receptor attracts the beet armyworm, and then there's an electrical current that gets activated and destroys the worm. So it's eco-friendly and all of that. But these are students who went up against graduate students in many of the US-based schools that they competed against. And they were winners because they looked at what they had locally and they became creative. There's lots more, but I'll yield to the other.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards.